So, hello everyone. We are here with Mr. Samuel Riley, who is a lifeguard manager with with Royal Caribbean. I said P&O Oz because, of course, that's where you're headed next, which got me excited with regards to going to Australia. So, can you tell us a little bit about what does a lifeguard manager do with Royal Caribbean? Because it's something new that's kind of just come to the Royal Caribbean fleet in the last little while. So what does your job basically entail?
So my job entails working alongside with the deck officers. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty high up on the food chain, so to say. Mm-hmm. My boss is the staff captain, so whatever the staff captain wants me to do, I go and do that. But when he's not in the loop, I go around the pools, manage the pools, make sure the lifeguards are doing their job, talk to the supervisors, and any other marine deck jobs that are necessary, attend meetings, etc., etc.
Awesome. So, and that's the interesting part about the job, too, that I've learned through us working together and you telling me about your experience, via Facebook while you did your first contract, that because it's such a new position, it's a very high-level position that you came into and actually part of the deck department. So how many stripes again? I know you have officer status. I think you had 2 stripes. Was that right? 2-stripe officer?
2. Yeah. 2.5.
Yeah.
2.5 stripe officer.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome to start out at such a high level coming from outside of the cruise ship industry. And you, just to confirm, you did get your own cabin as well. Is that right?
Got my own cabin.
Yeah. Awesome. And how many people were you responsible for managing at a time?
So my first contract was on the Allure of the Seas. Mm-hmm. I had 13 people below me. So I had 2 supervisors and 11 lifeguards.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a lot of people to manage. How did you find, so let's talk about your first contract. Where did you go on your first contract? Where did you get to cruise to?
Originally, I was supposed to go to the Navigator of the Seas, go over to Europe. But last minute, they called and said, hey, we need to go to the Allure of the Seas. I was in the Caribbean, went to St. Martin, San Juan, St. Thomas, Labadee, Haiti, Royal Caribbean's private island, and Falmouth, Jamaica.
Awesome. Well, that sounds very exciting. And then, if I remember correctly, did you get transshipped or you actually started a whole second contract?
I started a whole second contract.
Yeah. Awesome. So how long have your contracts been on average so far?
So my contracts are supposed to be 4 months on, 2 months off. Mm-hmm. But going down to Australia, I might extend that since I don't want to come back to the cold.
Yeah, no. And we do have a few people online now. And guys, I am checking comments on my other device here. So if you do have questions for Sammy, let me know. And we can answer those here. So yeah, and also, of course, if you're watching the stream after we're done, feel free to throw your comments in because we'll still be able to see them even after the fact as well. So the Caribbean, the first contract, and then the second contract, where did you end up going?
Second contract was in the Allure. First was in the Allure, went to the Oasis for a day and then came back to the Allure. So it was kind of a half and half. It's the same itinerary.
Yeah. And Oasis is definitely one of Royal Caribbean's largest ships. What were some major differences that you noticed between working with on your first contract and then working on Oasis class? Was it a much bigger team that you had to deal with, or what were some of the big differences there?
It was the same since Allure and Oasis are sister ships. So it was similar. I just had to go over and help one of the managers for the day, so it wasn't too major. Cool. Changes. Still 13 people below me.
And then your next contract, you're joining in Vancouver, my hometown. Super exciting. You get to do a little bit of Alaska, then you're going to head across the South Pacific, hit Hawaii, Tahiti, and head over to Australia and New Zealand, doing that area. When it comes to getting to travel the world, it's super exciting. So you're wanting to extend, so you're not wanting to come back in the winter cold, which is awesome. What are you most excited about on this next contract?
My next contract, I really want to do the crossing, the South Pacific crossing. I think that's what I'm most excited about. Tahiti, definitely Bora Bora, and then finally New Zealand has been my dream vacation spot.
Yay! And actually, we'll need to talk too soon because I'm going to be in Australia, New Zealand in November, December anyway. So we should definitely. I got to make sure I keep track of where your ship is, so that maybe we can even meet up on the other side of the world. That would be super cool. So for people watching, it's, you and I work together and we do our best. I do my best to kind of explain to clients like what it's going to be like on board, but it's very difficult. I mean, you do your best, but when you actually get there and you experience it, and every person experiences it in a slightly different way, what do you think are like the 3 biggest benefits to working on board, and maybe 3 biggest challenges that you found as well?
The 3 benefits I found is the diversity is amazing. Sitting down at a mess and eating with people from different countries is amazing. Learning about their lifestyles, their culture. Definitely seeing the world is the second one. Mm-hmm. And then the third one, I would have to say, being away from home. It gives you a different perspective of the world where you're not just in your hometown, people that you know. But if you go on a ship, you see the world, you experience different things, something that not many people can say.
Mm. And then, did you experience any challenges, like anything? I mean, obviously you're going back, so not enough that you're not going back on another contract, but was there anything that was really challenging for you, especially on that first contract?
The first contract was probably, I had one supervisor who was kind of difficult, being from a different part of the world. If you have to work to find the medium, so that way something that you think is totally normal, what they don't do in their normal lifestyle. So you have to find the medium. That's probably the only thing that was really challenging for me on the ship.
Yeah, and that's a really important thing to remember too, is like, yeah, it is like when you're working on a ship, it is like that microcosm of the entire world. You've got 35, 55 plus nationalities, and it definitely, you're all living and working together, and then culturally learning how everyone works, is definitely, it's a really great experience, but initially it can be a little bit difficult as well. Let's talk about port time. Did you get a chance to get off and like see some sights and do some really cool things? What was like one of the coolest places you went to and one of the neatest things you got to do?
So my favorite port of call this last contract was St. Martin. Mm-hmm. I was able to get off and go to Maho Beach, which is the airport beach, for people watching, where the airplanes land right next to the beach. You've probably seen it on movies, TV shows, and the YouTube. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite places, being able to sit there and just watch this giant 737 land on the tarmac.
Yeah, and I mean, that is definitely a iconic spot for in the Caribbean anyway when it comes to being on a cruise ship and working on a cruise ship, and you do have to be careful. I think there was actually recently somebody that got too close to the fence even watching those planes, so something to be careful of as well. So when I'm sure now you've been home a couple of times now, people that friends, family, they're asking you what it's like. If you were speaking to people and recommending whether or not they should be on board, what would you say is the top reason to work on board that you'd give somebody?
The top reason, so I'm 21, working abroad. Not many people who are 21 can say they've been to the Caribbean, and this next contract have been to Hawaii, Tahiti, Bora Bora. People my age cannot say that. If you work on board, you'll be able to see the world, travel, but if you're back at home, not many people my age can say that they've traveled the world, seen the world at such a young age.
Yeah. And been paid to do it. On top of that, been paid to do it, and be paid very well to do it, coming in at your level and your position. It's pretty awesome and pretty amazing. When it comes to, because we worked together many months ago now, and then you'd even started the process even before we started working together with regards to moving forward to get on board. What do you think maybe are the benefits of talking to, say, somebody like me, like a cruise ship specialist, before you actually start the process? What's something that you would get a benefit from with regards to that?
So I think it was really beneficial because even though my resume was good, so to say, but to have someone who has worked on board, someone who was in HR, be able to look at it, because what HR will do they're just going to scan it really quickly, and if they like you, they put it in one pile. If they don't like it, in another pile. So being a second set of eyes, someone who's had the experience, able to know what to put, what not to put, and how to lay it out, what they are looking for, so to say.
Yeah, and that was the cool thing about working with you as well, because we had quite a few different options and directions we could have gone. Obviously, lifeguarding and in the end, lifeguard management, which was amazing to obtain that position from the outset. That was the end goal, but you had a lot of other positions as well that you were qualified for, so it was nice to work with you because to give you that ability, that all those different directions that we could have gone in if we had to. Of course, we didn't have to because you went through the process really, really quickly. Now you're on board. Now it seems like Royal Caribbean is kind of looking to you as someone who potentially might be setting up the ships as they roll out this new lifeguarding program. So the ship that you're going on next, have they had the lifeguarding program as of yet, or are you sort of going there and you're going to be launching the new program?
Nope, I am going to the Radiance of the Sea next, and I am rolling out the ship. I've already gotten some emails, asking some questions, getting some answers, so I have been told it's 47 degrees in Alaska right now, so it's going to be a major shock going from the Caribbean to Alaska. So hopefully I'm ready for it, more ready for the crossing, but other than that, yep, I'm going to roll out the ship, put the lifeguards on, and then hopefully be ready for the sailing.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy you've had such an amazing time, and guys, if you do have questions, those of you watching or those of you watching after the fact, be sure, I'm just going back to the page here, you can pop in some comments now if you'd like, or feel free to comment after the fact. Sam or I will see them. And yeah, guys, so thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, Sam, for taking the time before you head out on your next contract coming up in the next few days back to my hometown of Vancouver to join your first ship. And guys, make sure if you haven't already checked out the Get a Life at Sea website, go to getalifeatsea.com. There's tons of products, services that can help you start your own adventures at sea. And if you haven't already taken the free Are You Ready for Life at Sea quiz, you can do so right on the homepage on the website. And of course, check out the new Cruise Ship Jobs 101 course that will give you everything you need to know to start living the life of your dreams and traveling the world, just like Sam here. So thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.